Just exactly who is the happy face killer and what were his motives behind all those murders? He claimed to have killed 8 women in multiple different states. He also started off by leaving a happy face mark in public bathrooms, but was disappointed when it wasn't getting that much public attention. So he started getting creative. The happy face killer reigned terror from 1990 to 1995. But before we get into this disgusting moron, let's talk about these two. Laverne and John were convicted of one of the murders. Lori Pentland from Salem, Oregon. She was found strangled behind a store in 1992. Laverne remained her innocence.
There's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. I'm hoping.
Keith Jesperson is claiming that he did the murders alone and had no accomplice.
Well, I am responsible for the happy face killing, which includes 8 people in 5 states, and there are a lot of victims out there, and I'm very sorry. I didn't, for the life of me, I can't understand myself why.
Keith had a dark side that he couldn't run from and couldn't explain the passion behind the murders. I believe he couldn't escape from his inner demon. Melissa Moore is Keith's daughter who struggles every day to understand why her father is a serial killer.
I'm here now in the area that my dad had taken me over 20 years ago for our summer vacations. I'm only now learning that this is the same location that he had disposed of Tanya Bennett's body.
Tanya Bennett was 23 years old. She met Keith at a bar in Portland, Oregon on January 23, 1990. He offered to buy her a drink and then they went to his house and things took a wrong turn. He placed his hand around her neck and then strangled her with a rope and watched the life leave her body. After killing her, he went to the bar and had a few drinks, then returned home to retrieve the body. He then drove outside at Portland to Columbia River near Crown Port and dumped the body. Her body was found a few days later. Keith murdered his victims by strangulation. This monster's urge and interest to kill people started when he was 10 years old. Keith at age 10 tried to kill his best friend, but luckily for his best friend, Keith's father was there to stop him. Keith claimed that his father treated him very differently from his siblings and not in a good way. He excluded himself from all high school activities as rage grew inside him. His inner demon has been woken up. Keith married Rose after high school at age 20 and they had 3 kids together. I know you're probably asking if this animal is even capable of loving someone, but Rose really did love him. After Keith got fired from a previous job for stealing, he became a truck driver. Unfortunately, Keith was not the best husband or the father for his kids. He started showing his dark side to his family. Keith killed multiple cats in front of his son and daughter, leaving them horrified. After 14 years of marriage, Rose had enough of Keith and suspected him of cheating. So one day, she packed up her belongings, got her kids, and moved out of the house while Keith was on the road working. Rose allowed Keith to visit his kids, but Keith's world was falling apart. He couldn't even complete an academy to become a police officer due to an injury. That was the last straw for Keith, and his inner demons were unleashed and uncontrollable, and a killing spree began. This is where Laverne and John got involved in this case. Laverne's evil plan against John backfired on the both of them when she contacted detectives and made a false report. According to her, she just wanted to get out of an abusive relationship with John. She told detectives that John killed Tanya Bennett and that she helped cover up the murder. After both their arrests in 1991, Laverne then retracted her story, saying that she made it all up, but by then it was too late because they were both sentenced to life in prison. This is what Laverne's daughter said to the public.
And we're hoping that these legal proceedings pave the way for Mom to be released.
Has she said anything to you today about this?
I haven't talked to her today, but I'm sure that I'll talk to her this evening. She's very anxious to come home.
Laverne's family is hoping that after Keith's confession of Tanya Bennett's murder, the judge will release her mother.
I forced my fist into her throat and later grabbed the rope and tied it around her neck securely. And she was dead.
The judge reduced Laverne's sentence down to 10 years, but is still not convinced that she didn't have anything to do with the murder. Meanwhile, Keith's killing spree has just begun. After the murder of Jean in 1995, Keith started sending letters to the news stations about the murders he had done. I'll let you read one of them. At some point, Keith confessed to his daughter that he's not who she thinks he is, and that's all he said. In 1994, Keith began to date Julie Willingham from Washington. In March of 1995, Julie's body was found on Washington State Road. They concluded that she died of strangulation. Even though Keith didn't get arrested for Julie's murder, he felt that the walls were closing in on him. Is it me, or does the nickname the Happy Face Killer sound so unsettling? Remember when I said that this creep used to terrify his kids? Listen to this.
I can't help but think about a statement that my dad made when I was on this trip with him. He said, "I know how to kill someone and get away with it." I would cut off the button number jeans so my fingerprints wouldn't be on it. I would wear my cycling shoes because they don't have an imprint on the sole so that nobody could trace what kind of shoe I was wearing.
You have to be a deranged psychopath to be saying this kind of shit to your own kids. Stick around because you're going to want to know the real number of the Happy Face Killer victims, and it will shock you. In 1995, Keith sent a letter to Channel 2 News confessing that he is the Happy Face Killer.
Jesperson says he started drawing the smiley face symbol to tempt investigators into tracking him.
I wanted it known. I wasn't trying to brag that I was, and then I sat down with my conscience and started writing something. I wasn't out chasing around and trying to grab what I could out in the street. If that was the case, I've given rides to people all over the country. No, I'm not out looking for it. I just got caught in a situation where it was whatever.
The reason behind Keith's confession was supposedly that his subconscious was talking to him and that he couldn't take it anymore, knowing that at least one person was doing life in prison for a murder that he did not commit. It was for the murder of one of Keith's victims. I don't know what's worse, listening to the confession of how he killed his victim or how he cleaned up the blood afterwards to cover up his tracks.
Washed the carpet, I washed the blood off the walls what I could, and eventually painted the walls of the house I was in.
He painted the walls afterwards to cover up the blood. Let me know how many of you guys just want to smack that smirk off his face. He was trying to cover up his tracks to try to forget about taking another human being's life? Are you kidding me?
And try to forget about it. And try to forget about it.
Keith's narcissistic behavior led him to confess to all the murders and claim that he did not know Laverne or John, and that they had nothing to do with any of the murders. In his sick, twisted mind, he wanted to be the only one in the spotlight and let everyone know that he acted alone, and that he was proud of his accomplishments of taking another person's life.
I wrote the letter to start some kind of proceedings, hopefully get the guy out of Oregon being wrongly accused of it. That's the Happy Face letters. This letter, I wrote it because I want to come clean with everything.
Essentially, then you're saying that you're in the Happy Face Killer?
I am the Happy Face Killer.
There's no doubt.
There is no doubt in my mind. No, I am him. That was started for some kind of show proof that there's somebody out there that's responsible for that crime. Because the innocent man was sentenced. He was forced to take a plea bargain to save his life.
Why come forward at this time then?
Well, I got arrested, like you know, and it was just bound to happen. But I've been trying to do it anonymously. I got into this problem I'm in, and I was dealing with the Gideons and the prison ministry, and I was talking to them, and they were talking to me about coming forth with the truth. And thank God, you know, I've got them to come and talk to me, and I was able to come out and tell the truth, and I want to get it all over with so that this man that's in OSP is not prosecuted anymore for his crime, for a crime he didn't commit.
I don't care what anybody says, but this monster is a very sick, twisted, disgusting individual. Listen carefully to the reasons behind his crimes.
For people who don't understand the series of killings, first of all, why did you do them? Outline the number of victims.
There are 8 total victims.
Actually, that's not true. There are claims that the victims' numbers are a lot higher than what he's saying, which you will find out at the end, so stick around.
In the following states of Washington, Oregon, California, Florida, and Wyoming.
And all under the happy face killer?
Yeah, they have been told. The first things I put out were writing on bathroom walls. You wouldn't believe what people write on bathroom walls. They be surprised how fast it gets to management, and then people come and see it and give a reasonable doubt. I wanted it known. I wasn't trying to brag that I was trying to get something started.
He wanted to get something started, as if it's something to be proud of. The more he talks, the more disgusting he sounds.
And then that never did anything. They just passed that off as a prank call or whatever. And then I sat down with my conscience.
He's talking about having a conversation with his inner demon.
And then I sat down with my conscience and started writing something. And I tried to make myself make the happy face, which I did not name. Phil Stanford from the Oregonian, actually, he's a freelance writer now, named that the happy face. All I did is sign a circle with 2 little eyes and a crescent smile.
And your thoughts about what you've done? Anything that you'd like to say to people?
Well, people look. Well, you know, I'm afraid they're going to look at me and they're going to try to say, well, this guy's, you know, he's sick, he's over, and it's probably true. I am more than probably. I do have a problem. I know I have a problem. I didn't go looking for I didn't look for it to happen.
All the signs were there when he was younger, and it all started when he was killing animals. There is no excuse for his behavior, but if the stories are true and what his dad used to do to him, then I kind of blame his dad as well.
I wasn't out chasing around and trying to grab what I could out in the street. If that was the case, I've given rides to people all over the country, and no, I'm not out looking for it. I just got caught in a situation where it's whatever.
And again, for my understanding, just so I understand, you're the happy face killer, and just tell me what you can.
Well, I am the happy face killer. I'm dubbed that by Phil Stanford. I tried to make it look like somebody was really, vicious and that was out there. And a lot of things said in those happy face letters were not really true in actually the crime content. But they were started to get I was trying to get someone to maybe start an investigation going back to maybe they would release this guy. He was wrongly accused after his ex-wife accused him. She has a reputation of playing wolf. And
he's talking about Laverne, exactly what I've been saying and how evil she is. I don't believe couples falsely accusing each other of crimes they didn't commit just because they want to be a spiteful bitch. Karma is real and it does backfire, and to be honest, I really don't feel bad for her. Men play these evil games as well, but women do it more often and they need to cut their shit out already. Being falsely accused of a crime that you didn't commit is a dangerous game to play with, and it's fucked up. I know you guys are gonna say, Monica, you are so mean, but you know what? I really don't care. Laverne got what she deserved, and that was getting arrested as well.
Multnomah County Sheriff Department helped her fabricate a lie, so it got her convicted for 10 years, and after she got convicted for 10 years, they used that against him for leverage so he could cop a plea bargain, so he could go to jail without having to face a trial. And he saved his life, basically.
And this is what justice looks like when it fails you.
Whoa.
Finally, do you have a sense of remorse at all? People, when they hear you talk about this, they might say, "Well, how could he have done those crimes? He sounds pretty collected about the whole thing."
Well, it's kind of hard to explain, but I can't understand how I could do it myself. I've always thought I was a nice person. I've always brought myself out like that, and I've always got along with everybody.
And that's what a narcissist would say after strangling.
And I've come from a broken home. And I'm not going to blame that. Of course, there's going to be psychologists that are going to stick their nose in it, and they're going to ask how sane I am. And I am a sane person. I'm saner now than I probably ever have been. I'm coming forth with the truth. I want to make sure it's out there. Remorse? Yeah, I have a lot of remorse. I haven't slept a good night's sleep in 5 years. 5.5 years.
Keith knew his days were numbered before he got caught after murdering his girlfriend Julie, so he decided to turn himself in. The night before he called the detective to confess all his crimes, Keith sat down and wrote one letter to his children and one letter to his brother. You can pause for a moment to read this letter to his brother. The next day, Keith was arrested for his crimes, and the number of murders he confessed to committing will shock you. Now, before I tell you the number, Keith was only convicted for the murders that they were able to find and prove, so he did get multiple life sentences. But before I reveal it to you, I need you guys to like this video, subscribe, share, and click the join button to become a member for amazing contents like this. Okay, here we go, drum rolls.
A few moments later.
I'm kidding. 160 victims. Let that sink in. Some are saying that's not true, but you know what? In our reality, they weren't there when the crimes were being committed. It was just Keith. Maybe he didn't really kill 160 women, but it was damn close. Keith doesn't have anything to lose, so I don't believe that he's lying. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Comment below and let me know what other stories you want me to shine some light to it for you guys, and I'll see you next time.